So welcome to this part 2. In the previous video, we have done the basic of our app. So we have just done a basic React app with Bootstrap React. So Bootstrap React was the library we have used, Bootstrap React. And here we are going to load that one. And here in this video, we are going to load some dummy data, so some images or some users with a API. So I was thinking what kind of API we can use. There are a lot of APIs out there, tons of APIs you can use, and you have to know more or less what you would like to use. You have like robot dash API. So I was thinking about that one. Robot hash. This one, robothash.org. You have JSON placeholder. It's that one, JSON placeholder. So that one generates a lot of data you need for posts, for users. It's a simple API. Basically, it's placeholder for the API, meaning that it will generate for you a lot of comments. For instance, you see that's comments. If you need to generate comments, you have a application, but your application is only front end and you need to generate some backend dummy data. You would use this API, so JSON placeholder, to generate and to simulate some dummy data. You can also use TheCatAPI. So TheCatAPI is API as a service, this one. And I believe this is the one we are going to use for now. The TheCatAPI, Cat as a service. That API looks really cool. Yeah, I would like to use that one and to show it to you. This nice documentation explaining to you how to use it easily. You see? So let's go by starting. Oh, and that's some, I believe you had also some codes. You see when you navigate, you see that one. So this is the documentation. Let's go back to TheCatAPI, the website, and let's go. Oh, it's nice. They even have a Postman collection, I believe, there. You can also use Insomnia. In a previous course, in my course in Udemy RESTful API, I have used only Insomnia, but obviously it's the same as using the Postman. So where was my course? If I just type my name, probably I will see it. This one. So on my course here, I have used Insomnia, but you can obviously use Postman as well. So here, the TheCatAPI, that's for the Postman collection, I believe. You see that those are the collections, but for us, we just care about the API itself. Let's create an account, sign up for free. Some APIs require you to sign up somewhere. So in the robot hash, you don't have to sign up in that API, and the same for the JSON placeholder. This one, TypeCode code JSON placeholder, you don't have to register. However, for most of the APIs out there, you will have to create an account. So here, let's just mention an email address. In my case, I will mention my email address. And here, course, and then I will just do, so they know what's this. I'm doing a live course, perfect, personal project, sign up. Let's wait. Beautiful, so awesome. You have been sent an email. I will check my mailbox. Let's see. the email I have received. So beautiful. You see, I have this lovely email and I can now use the API key. So the API key is the one there. I'm not sure if you see. Now that you have your API key, well done. I suggest you to copy it somewhere, to paste it somewhere. For instance, in my case, I will use VS Code and I will just paste my API key here for now before to use it. We can already, by the way, create a constant somewhere, but let's do it later. First, on this page, so once you have created your account on the TheCatAPI, you will see this page, and here you see code examples. So code examples is just some examples of code. I suggest you to have a look. It's always nice and good to know some samples of codes you can reuse and how they use the API. So you see the way they use the API, like here they have the breeds, and then where do they use the API key? Oh, here, I believe. Oh no, that's not the API key. Let's search for key. Well, I'm not too sure where they use the API key there. Maybe let's go to vanilla.js, upload an image. That might be a little bit different. Is to upload an image. Let's see another example. Maybe this one. Well, the best to do, I believe, would be to go to the documentation, like here, for instance. That's for Postman, but it's fine. It's more or less the same. Otherwise, you could just go back to the main website and open the documentation here, and you will also see how to use the API. So basics, getting images. So this is what we want. We want to get some images. As you can see, you can filter by breed, which is quite nice. So only some breeds we would like to retrieve. Here, for instance, we can call this URL. So let's copy this one. And again, you see here you have an example. You can see the source code on GitHub, how they have used it. So basically they are calling the API here. I wonder where they use the API key. Oh, there, I believe, Axios default demo API key. They're using it as in the header. This is why we couldn't see it in the URL. So they are apparently not mentioning the API key in the URL. It's in the header as X API key in header. So let's do that. For us, it will be easy. So I'm not sure we are going to use Axios. We might just use fetch, but it will be similar because in fetch, send headers, you will see it's also quite easy. Let's go to the documentation, and here you see to send headers is you just have to mention headers object, and then we will mention the header here for the API key. So let's do that in our home component. So when we go to components here, home, there, let's create a new component, and the new component will be cat.jsx. Beautiful. And here we'll do const cats equals, and then we are declaring our component, and there I will use fragment. You know, in React we cannot have two parent tags, so we need fragment here first, and finally I will store first the API URL. So API URL equals, and this one. Beautiful. We want only the breeds. So what's the bank cat breed. Oh, it's that one. Oh, beautiful. They look really, really nice. Bengal, cat, domestic, nice. We are going to get those cats, and we can also have our API key equals, and this is where we will use our API key, this one. After we might store it in a .env file, but we could do that later. Now let's focus on having a function to request the cats from the API. So the bank breed cat from the API. So we'll have a arrow function and the name will be request cats. And here it will be, well, it's an arrow function. It's a basic function, and here it will be a async function because we are going to use, so async has to be there. We are going to use fetch, and for fetch we need obviously async because fetch is await. So I'm going to do const response equals, so API response equals await. Here I need a await, and then we can use API URL, and here we'll have the headers. So we'll have const headers. So the headers is the options for fetch, because in our case we are going to use headers to send the API key. Actually, on the TheCatAPI, you have two ways to send the API key. You can either send it through the header, so you can send your API key as a header or as a query parameter. So in our case, you see here, request header, we will be doing this way, headers and API X API key. This is what we are going to do and what we are doing for fetch. But you can also send the API key as a query parameter like this. Question mark API underscore key and then equals your API key. In our case, I think it's just nicer to send it as a header, so X API key, and here it will be our API key. Beautiful, like this. And the header it will be, it's an option, so we'll do like this. So with fetch, if you look in the documentation, fetch, let's have a look on the documentation here. And if you look for headers, how you send, you see that's a different the interface of header and the parameter. So let's go to headers here. And normally they will show you, or that's with an object, maybe it's not the best page to show it to you. Let's see here. Let's search for headers, you see, so that's the options you send in fetch, and you have headers, and in headers you can have a bunch of different headers. Like here, you know, headers accept image, JPEG, and then you have the headers, you send it in, well, it's in my initialization, so my init, and you send it there. Anyways, in our case, it's like this. We could also have done headers and then having the headers like that. But in my case, I think it's just nicer to store it in an object. So to assign it in a variable, headers, and then just to pass it in fetch. And now, because the result will be JSON, we can do const API response, const result, JSON to result. So let's do like JSON to result equals await, and here to be API response.json. Beautiful. We can also do a console log, so it will be helpful to have a console log to see to debug and to see the response from the API. Perfect. And now we can also have some states in our component. We will create the cats, and here set cats for the states. So we use hooks with React. This is the preferred, the recommended way to do it with React because it's much more readable than a class. With React, when you use hooks, it's more readable, definitely more. So use state, and here the default value will be curly brackets. So we have cats and set cats, and there, after the console log, I will set cats and JSON results like this. And now let's use useEffect. So useEffect is the React hook. So if you are familiar with object-oriented programming with React, if you have used React before the hooks, probably you are familiar with component data mount, this one. So component data mount is exactly the same as useEffect, this one. So useEffect is a hook, and component data mount, it was the method you are using when you are using object-oriented programming before with React. And here in useEffect, we are going, so that's my hook, and here we are going to call the request cats. So request cats, again, let's not have an await here. I know it's a async function, but in hooks inside of them, you shouldn't use await. Unless obviously you declare the function inside, that's fine. You can just do this function, you can copy paste inside as here async, but then you will recall that function without the await. Don't use await with useEffect inside, and useEffect shouldn't be async. So now we do request cats, and here we are going to use a empty square brackets. You are probably wondering why I have a empty square brackets. Well, it's for optimization. It's because we don't want the function here to be fired off every time we are the component is is being called, because well the data will still be the same. I know if we want to if we have an ID, for instance, we are just requesting one cat, and here we can mention an ID, and so useEffect knows that it should call again request cats every time the ID changes. But in our case, it's not the case. So if you want to run an effect and clean it up only once on mount and on mount, you can pass an empty array like what we just did. Now for us, it's empty square brackets. We request the cat. Here we set the cat into the state, and this is done. And now in the result of the cat component, we can do, I believe first we can have, we will have a loop. So first we'll do object dot, and here it will be values, because the JSON result will be an array. So here it's cat, because we set, you see the result, we set it in cat. Maybe this one I will move it. No, I can. Let's just have some info debugging. I'm just adding some comment so it's a little bit more readable. Here we have cats, because when we do set cats, it adds the cats here inside. Use states, I think I didn't import it, so let's import it. And now we have cats, and then we can use map cat, and here I will loop through all the cats. So first we are going to use the Bootstrap React components. The first thing will probably be a row. So first we might have a container. Let's see after if we change it or not. So first container, let's import that one. You see container React Bootstrap, and here row class name will be, it will be justify content center. Beautiful. And here I end the row, and there we can have column column, we have a key because this is the first it's the first tag inside of the loop. So we need a key to be unique. That's important in React. You have to mention the key attribute with a unique ID. Otherwise, React doesn't see which one is unique. And then we can use the card. So we can do card, and here card body. Card body, let's import them. Again, you see, now I have my card component imported also from React Bootstrap. And there we can do, first I will have, what else do we have with card? So we have card, img, header, we can use card header. And in the card header, we'll have a heading to be cat name. And in the body, we will have, let's have a paragraph and cat description, and then we can have, here we can do cart image. I never used that one. It's probably cart img. Let's see how it works, because for me it's something new. So first, obviously, apparently I cannot import it. Let's see what it offers. Cart img. Let's see. Okay, now I have it imported. Yeah, nice. And here, cart img, let's see the definition of this property. Okay, so, well, what I think it will be, can I have a src? Yeah, apparently I do. So I will do cat.url. That will normally be the image. We'll see how it will go. And pretty much that's it. So I have my column, cart, and then we have the row again here. Beautiful. So that looks good. I can also import the row here. Nice. And for cart.img, actually it's cart.img. We won't import that one. It's cart.img. It's the right one. And cart header, we will remove this, and inside of cart body, we will have cart.title instead. I just had a look to the documentation, and this looks better. Beautiful. So I believe we are pretty much set. We have container, we might remove that one, and row, and then we will loop the different cats. We have parentheses as well inside of map, because we return the contents there. It's the same as doing this and then return. It's exactly the same. We want to return the contents. And then we have key for React reconciliation, because React has to know the unique ID to reconciliate the different tags for the DOM. And then we have cart body, cart title, and paragraph. Now let's use our cat component here in home.jsx. So let's do, like, after the greeting message, we can do cat. So this is what we have done previously in the previous video, part 1, and here. So in home.jsx, we can do cats like this, and we can import the component. We have to export the cats component first. So let's go back to cats.jsx and let's do export default cats like this. And here we can finally import our cats component. Beautiful. So now it's inside of the div in home.jsx. Let's have a look and let's see how it goes. Use effect is not defined. Line 25. Let's have a look in cats.jsx, line 25. Here, what happened? Not defined. So we have the request. Oh yes, we have to import, indeed. We have to import use effect from the React library. So now let's refresh. That's good, but we have nothing. So let's see our console log. And what our console log is saying. The internet, oh, apparently I have an issue with the internet connection. First of all, before I check my internet connection, let's do a try catch block for fetch, because sometimes you might receive an exception and we have to handle the error. So let's do try catch, and here we can do console.error, and we can do error.message, or we can, here it can be error. And so we do error.message like this, just in case something goes wrong. Let's also move these two lines, because otherwise JSON result will be undefined because it's only declared there. So we have to move these two lines inside of the try block like this. Now let's run our application again if it's not the case. So npm start to run the server, and then it will be available on localhost port 3000 like what we were doing before. And here, when you see now we have one cat. Wow, so it works. At least we have one photo of a cat. So why just one? Let's see in our, when we inspect the element. Oh, now we have a different one. So let's inspect the element to open the console, and here on the console, what do we have? So let's see the console log. We should have here object, because indeed when we make a API request, here we have the result, and the result from the API, the TheCatAPI result, we log it here in console log. This is why we see the result here. And now what we can do, as you can see in the result, we have breeds, and inside of breeds it's an array. So if we go here, breeds, and then we have an array, but in the breed we can see, let's have a look, we can see the name of the cat, and we have a lot of different details. We have description as well, and we have a Wikipedia link. So let's use that. You see, those informations will be useful for us to display for each cat. So here, for each breed, sorry, because we are actually searching for the breed. So here, when we have there, we know we can have the breed, it's inside of cat. So when we loop it, because it's an array, we should do first, we have the breed. Let's see again how it works. We have breeds, and then it's an array. So here it will be dot breeds, then breeds, we take the index 0 and then name. And the same here, breeds, index 0 and then description. And what else? We can also add the Wikipedia link, like what we said. So A for anchor, and then href, href, and here it will be the link. So for the link, we will do quotes and then curly brackets, and we have backtick because we are inside of the return statement. So we have to do curly bracket and then backtick, and here it will be the same cat. So sorry, it will be actually, let me see, curly bracket, yes, and then we should have $, curly bracket again, and here we have cat, breeds, and then index 0, and finally we will have the Wikipedia URL. Beautiful. And there we can just, for the name of the link, we can say Wikipedia, like this. Awesome. So it looks like this: anchor, href, the link, and then the name of the link, Wikipedia. Let's have a look how it goes with the details we have added. Or here we need the closing square bracket. Beautiful. So now let's go to Safari and let's refresh. You see, now I have the name of the cat, the Wikipedia page. Let's have a, oh, it doesn't work apparently. Let's copy link. Let's see. The link is not valid. So we probably did a mistake. So cat, then it's breeds. What would be the mistake? I will remove the square brackets and let's see. And now if I check the link, oh yeah, that's correct. Sorry, my bad. No quotes, otherwise JavaScript cannot translate the link here. It will still be, it won't be, well, the expression, the variable won't be interpreted into variable. It will be like a string. So that's why we don't need our double quotes here. So let's leave like this, curly brackets, and then backtick, and backtick it's actually the string, and here's the variable. As simple as that. And now we have the cat, so that's beautiful. Let's make them smaller, because at the moment the image is takes quite a lot of space. So how to do that? Well, we'll have width, and we'll do 200, and for the same for the height. It will be, the height will be also, or maybe 300, something like this. And maybe we have also a class name we can use from Bootstrap. What's the name? I forgot actually. It's image. Let's have a look. Bootstrap class image rounded. They have a really nice CSS class. Or maybe it's just rounded. Let's try that one. Oh, yeah, you can see it's a little bit rounded here in the border. However, the size is not good because, well, the image is not made to have that size. So let's see what's the original size. I think the API sends the size. You see, that's the size. So at least we have an idea, but we cannot have a smaller image apparently. We won't be able to have a smaller image. So, well, as you can see, the width is always smaller than the height. So height, what I'm going to do is just to make the card smaller instead. So here I will just have cat and then width, and here cat height. So the original size. I said I also mentioned them there just in case, and it's always better to mention specific sizes of the images, even if the image has the same size, the same resolution. And for the card, we can make it a little bit smaller. Let me see. We are going to do MD, and here, so medium, and here it will be 4. So it won't be for card, it will be for the column here. Column 4. So now the card will be more smaller. You can see that's already better. I know the image is not perfect. I will actually make it 4, 3 maybe. 3, and here we have the row. So now let's in the URL of the API, we can increase the limit of number of cats, because at the moment we just have one. But let's do % limit equals 20. And maybe let's store the 20 into a constant. So let's do const max cat, so the maximum of cats, and it will be 20. We can do maximum cats per page if we want to be more specific in naming our constant, our variable. And here we can do like this, $, and then curly brackets and the name of the variable, of the constant. Again, if you wonder why we mention $, curly brackets, and the name of the variable when we use backticks, it's because we use the literal string template in JavaScript. It's a feature since ES6. So with that, we can use backticks, and then we can use expressions, variables, and so on inside of a string. So now you see we have our cats, as you can see them, but again, the size is not really good. It's like the image is way too high. We have to fix it. So how we can do it? Well, there are plenty of ways to do it in CSS, but if we don't want to bother too much with CSS, we can just remove the width, or we can just do height. We can change it to, well, 200. Let's see. Yes, that's already better. So 150 maybe. Yeah, that's nice. 200 maybe was even better. You can still do like 250, perhaps 240. Yeah, that looks quite good. You see, it's much better. And the cats are beautiful, by the way. And we have the Wikipedia page. So we can move the link to the Wikipedia page after the image. I believe that's better. And we can center the link. It would be better to center the link of the Wikipedia page link. So here to be text center like this. So now you see, oh, sorry, it's not centered. Class name, sorry, my bad. We need class name in JSX. So, it's still not right. Oh, text muted, no, text center. Nearly there. Okay, now it should be centered. Let's see. Yes, the link is centered. We can also add a margin top of 2. Again, those are Bootstrap class names, and you see now we have a little margin. It looks really nice, and we can actually use the class like you have seen it before, text muted, because it will make, or maybe it won't work here. No, it won't. I think it has to be on the anchor tag. So here if we do class name, and then the name of the class here to be, yeah, a little bit dark. You see, that's quite nice, because you know, a link, I understand usually it's always blue, but for our design it doesn't look that good. So let's make it a little bit more like calm colors. You see, the colors are better in dark, like everything is a little bit in more or less in dark black and white. So this is beautiful. What else can we do? Well, now we have all the cats. It's a nice page. Here for the footer, let's add probably a margin bottom, or maybe in the footer we can directly go to the footer. So again, footer.jsx, and there we can do margin top of 4, 5, like this, and that should do it. And actually for the class here we can just do justify content center as well, margin top, nice, and we can add a HR tag to delimit the footer, to have a delimiter, a line, as you can see. Maybe also let's have a margin bottom, because margin top is good, but we need also a little bit of a margin at the end. So MT and then 5. I actually meant MB5, because for the second one is margin bottom. So we have first MT for margin top and then MB5. And now if we refresh, you see we have the margin bottom as well at the end. I will just turn on the light. I will switch on the light. Now it will be better for me, for my eyes. So you see margin bottom, margin top. Let's also add margin or padding for the top and bottom of every card, because you can see like every card for the left and right is fine. We have a bit of space, but after every row, we don't have any space. So let's fix it. So if we go to cat.jsx, so in src components, cat.jsx, that component, we can add here a class name, and the name, well, the class will be, maybe let's do padding 1. So let's refresh. You see, now it's much better. We have a bit of space, a padding, and this looks much nicer. And what else can we do? Well, we have hello world, we have the cats. We can also add a spinner, because sometimes when the internet connection is a bit slow, or when the API is just slow to respond, we are waiting for the page and we don't see anything. So it's nice to have a little spinner, something that will make us waiting, like we know, oh yes, something is coming on the page. It's not just a blank page. We have cats that are about to come. But you see, we have to waiting, and there's nothing. Oh, now I don't know why there's literally nothing. Let's see in the log. Oh, it's just a bit slow. The API, I believe, is also a bit slow to respond. So let's add a spinner. And for doing this, we will first add a new use state. So let's do const loading and is loading. Oh well, loading. Let's do is loading and set is loading equals use state, and the default value will be, it will be false by default. And when we are loading the cat, so here we can set is loading to true, and then once the cats are loaded here, we can set is loading to false. You see? So by default is false. Then we are loading the cats. Just before to load them, we do true, and then we do false once we receive the result. And we are going to add the spinner probably here. So here it will be, we'll have something like is loading, and then question mark, is loading yes. So there we'll have parentheses, and then we'll have, we normally Bootstrap offers a spinner. So let's have a look. Bootstrap spinner, Bootstrap React spinner. You see here, they have already some by default. Let's have, which one will have something a little bit original. So probably, we might go, I might go for maybe this one, the grow. So let's do animation and then grow. Perfect. And then we can close the spinner. It's loading, we are displaying a spinner. Otherwise we have this. So as you can see, this condition is actually the ternary conditional operator. We have a question mark, and then we have a colon to say if else. And there we will need to have the fragment React tag. So just the arrow to wrap the object values, and here we will do the same there. Perfect. So now we have fragment object, that's a column. Then we have this one, we will need the end of that one here, beautiful, like this. And now fragment, and finally nearly there, as you can see. So after we need again the parentheses, and then that will be it. I believe I still have a little issue. Oh yeah, curly, I need curly brackets and ending with curly brackets. So now it should be fine. You see we have the curly brackets from there when we start the condition and here to end. So the indentation is not perfect. We can obviously fix it by going to preferences, and there we can go to plugins and we can change. So if you search for prettier, we can fix it. So we can do unsafe. So it will automatically fix it for us. And the same, so I will select here, I can select it and I can do the same for ESLint. So again, I will select that and press OK, apply OK, and now ESLint and prettier should reformat my code when I save the file. Let's see. While we are waiting for this, I just also want to share with you another plugin. You have maybe seen that sometimes some code are suggested for me. It makes actually my coding experience better. It's because I use this one. So this plugin, Tab 9 AI Code, helps you, and so it will suggest you some code that you should use that are likely to be the one you are looking for. So sometimes, when I'm doing some coding, like even when I was doing the condition with React, when I was doing this one, it was suggesting me to have column and then, to have column here, column, and here to have the question mark also there. And this is from Tab 9. So if you go to, it's free to use, Tab 9 AI. It's this one. It's a really cool product if you are looking for something like this. Beautiful. So now we can go back and we can see if our spinner works or not. So let's refresh. You see, I can see the spinner. That's amazing. So every time I refresh the page, I first see the spinner before to see the cats. That's really good. I have the URL. What else can we add for the information of the cats? So let's inspect the element again. And let's go to console. And let's see what else we could use. The breeds, height, yes. And then, well, because normally there are a lot of information, especially in breeds. We have the name, description, which we did, and then name, lifespan. Or maybe the lifespan is, why not? It's always handy. So let's also see what else we can do with Cart, Bootstrap, React, because maybe we don't use all the features, every components and tags offered by Cart in Bootstrap. So we have Cart here. The header we don't use, but we don't need. You see here, list group. We could also list some item like that. So we can do this. That would be nice. List group and then list group item. Let's do that. Yeah, that's a good idea. So that's the image here. We can maybe add an alt name. Alt is like a suggested name when there is no image or when the image cannot be loaded. So we just add the name of the cat. And here, and even I can do something like this. Cat photo, breed, and then I can use the variable, and then I close it with backtick like this. And here we will have cart group, and I first have to import it. So let's import that one. Now if I go to my import, I can see the card group has been imported. And let's go back to here. Here I will use variant, and it will be, the name will be flush. Was it flush? Yes, flush. And then I have card group dot item, and then as you can see you have just some items. So here I will use cat dot breeds, and here it will be so index 0, and the information I wanted to mention there was, well, the lifespan, but also maybe origin. So lifespan, so here to be lifespan, and then I can have another one for origin, and here to be origin. And then what else can we have? Name, natural, what other informations are important? Temperament, that's nice. It's always good before to buy a cat to know, oh, that breed is more like this temperament or another one. So we know the origin, the temperament of the cat, and the lifespan. I just have a little issue. Let's see in my log. Let's remove just those informations, these informations, and let's refresh. So it's apparently from, I don't have to import it. This one is from the card group item. Let's see again in the documentation of Bootstrap. Why card group item? Oh, sorry, a list group, not card group. Oh, that's the problem. I did card group, list. My bad. List group, list group, list group. And so yeah, it's list group and not card group. This is probably why it wasn't working. Let's remove the other import, and now if we refresh, my bad, sometimes you just do easily a typo. Yeah, this looks much better. Origin, lifespan, yeah, nice. And we can close the one for the spinner. So here, let's see if we have other information we want to use. Or cart header, that will be nice to have cart header, just to give a, like a header. So here we'll have cart, you see there is cart header and not, yeah, cart header. So we have the title first, and then here to be cart header. It's not list header, it's just cart header. And there we'll just have the, well, a name like probably breed or information. Yeah, information. And now let's refresh. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, you see, information. Maybe we can also mention the breed name. Again, it's even also better for SEO to have the breed name, but maybe we can, maybe there's some more relevant information to add there, like just something more specific perhaps. Name, because all of the breeds are the same. Oh yeah, my bad. So what we can do to have different breeds is just to remove these breeds. We don't want to filter to the bank, and we just want all breeds. So now if I refresh, we'll have a lot of different breeds. Oh, I just have a little issue with breed IDs. It doesn't want, maybe the result might be different because we have changed to a different breed. So the error, what the error is saying to us it was saying breed name. So sometimes there's no name. Oh yeah, this is a little bit more tricky. So we can use the optional chaining operator. So question mark is the optional chaining operator in JavaScript. This one. So we can use that one for everywhere we have a breed. So we can do this. So breeds there as well. There. Obviously, it will be, you see, because the name here, the error we have, it's about the name of the breed. So it was about the name. So let's use a question mark here. Probably, well, let's have two, one there and one here. At least it's safer because we know if there are no information, it won't be displayed. Breeds and here, there, or something even. Yeah, let's do that. But after I will also filter to some specific breed. We can have a look on the documentation. So now I have question mark, 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 question mark. Beautiful. I think that's it. And here as well. Question mark, question mark. And then here, actually, I still want to filter. So we do like this because I still want some breeds IDs equals. So let's have a look what's the list of breeds. The cat API. Let's see if we search for breed IDs. So I want some selection. We cannot select more than one breed, can we? Here, breed ID. When you change breed, yes. If I want this one, Manx. Can I have also this one as well? Let's see. So breed ID. So we'll do bang, Manx. I'm not sure if this will work. Let's have a look. Well, apparently not really, because it doesn't return anything. If I remove this one, only one. Yes, Manx doors, but we cannot select more than one. That's interesting. And those cats, yeah, some don't have any breeds apparently. Like there's no name there. So if I only want to have some specific breeds, there's not a way to do it. More breeds. If I do this are cat breeds, or it's probably this one to list all the breeds. So yeah, query, page 1. What else? By name. Oh, breeds. Then it won't be images. Oh yeah, let's try this. Breeds. So there we can do breeds. And I believe I can remove my breed ID param. Let's just do like this and let's see how that works. So at least normally the breeds will be populated. Oh, I have nothing. Well, That's a little bit annoying. If I have nothing, breathe, search. Let's have a look here for the result. Oh, apparently there is an issue with that endpoint of the API because, yes, it doesn't want to return anything. So maybe, well, for now I believe I will, let's keep what we had for now, and in my case I will have a look later if there's no other way to improve it, to have something else than limit, but to have something else than all the breeds. But yeah, for now we can keep this, and we can still mention the breed IDs equals tomatoes bank and limit. Yeah, perfect. And for the cat, by the way, here, because the information we just repeat ourselves, you see Bengal information. Bengal information is the same cat breed, so I will just remove this. So in information, you go title, header, and I will just remove this. And then I would just probably wrap the cart into its own component so we can reuse it later. It's a good practice to have smaller components so we can remove them across your application. So I will cut that piece of code and I will create a new component here, and it will be, the name of the component will be catcart.jsx. And here I will paste that, but first we need to create our function for the component. So it will be cart equals, and then our function. And here we can paste the content. So first we need return, and then I can paste it. Inside of return, parentheses again, because we have multi-lines. And as you can see, a lot of lines, and then we can export our component, export default cat cart. Beautiful. And here I will destructure cat or cat details. And so inside here I will just replace cat to cat details, replace all. It's cat details everywhere, or except here. Oh yeah, we'll also do the same when we have question mark, the optional chain operator. And I will do the same. Beautiful. That's done. And now cat details, cat cart, or maybe the name is not good. Cat cart, or maybe cat details. Yeah, let's do cat details. It will be a little bit better. Cat details. Perfect. Beautiful. And my text editor, we named automatically the function name and so on. So for you, you might have to do it manually if your text editor, your IDE doesn't do it for you. But for me, as you can see, it does. I think with VS Code, so Visual Studio Code, it doesn't do it by default. Here then we will paste, so we won't paste, we just write cat details, and that's our component, and we can import if it's, oh, I think my IDE also did it. Yeah, my text editor, IntelliJ did it for me. Beautiful. So that's done, and we don't use list group. I can remove it. So now let's have a look again. Let's refresh. Oh, I need to restart our React application, the server. So npm start. Let's wait, and now let's see. Surprise. Let's see if it works. Oh, we have fs. That's interesting. Can't resolve. Oh, I wonder. Oh, I think I did some changes earlier, and it's probably from there. So I will just undo this. I did a few changes for the env because we might implement a .env file for the configuration. And now I think there is still loading. So about the env file for the configuration of our application, so to store the API URL and the API key, it will probably be in another video. Otherwise, it will just be too long and it's optional anyway. So we have an error because did not match. Oh, I think it's because of the changes I have done still earlier here. So I will just put it back. So the URL, sorry about this. So you can just ignore this part now. I will go in cat component. You see I was implementing the, if you want to use a .env config file, you can just use this, and it has to start by React app. So the prefix normally has to be React app, but we will probably see this in another video. But if it interests you, this is a documentation adding custom environment variables for your application, and you see it will the prefix will be React app. So now let's go back to our application. And so this one we can ignore it. I will just copy again the key, and I will paste it back for the cat component here. And now it should be fine. So let's see, and let's refresh again. Oh, I have another issue. Let's see in our console, cat details .url. Oh, I know why. It's because we, yeah, obviously we didn't pass the details. So we need cat details, cat details, because the name here is cat details. So we'll pass cat details. So that's the props. So the property. You know, in React, if you have used the object-oriented programming with React, you did props dot something, the variable. And here it's cat. Yes, it will be cat. Beautiful. So it will be like this. Let's see now. We still have an issue, but you see, actually, I think it's an issue from our API. This is why. The issue is from our API because the URL is not correct. It's 404. It returns a 404 error because I forgot to paste the v1 here. You see, because we had v1 there and somehow I didn't. So this is the issue. So now let's refresh and let's see. Yes, amazing. So you see, it works. So amazing. Now you have seen how you can refactor easily components. So we split the details of the cat inside of its own component. So now we have the cat or the cats, and it will call the cat details. It's much cleaner and easier to read, and you will be able to reuse the cat details component later elsewhere. For instance, when we want to click only in one cat, we can reuse that one as well. If later you want to have a specific page to display only one cat, you can reuse that component, and you will be able to do so with React Router DOM. That's a really nice package for having URLs with React Router DOM. Well done. See you later. And in app.js, so first in home.jsx, do you remember we had the greeting, which is hello world. So we will just change that greeting in app.js to hello cat, just to make it a little bit funnier, and we can have a cat emoji like this.